Hey everyone, how you doing? Today we have another replay cast to do. Once again, this is going to be submitted by Fenrack. I do not currently know who his opponent is. I haven't looked at the replay yet, but I'm gonna go ahead. We're going to do the cast here, and hopefully you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Alright, so in the top right hand corner, weighing in at 475,000 metric tons, the blue Cronos. This is Cronos. In the bottom left hand corner, playing as the red Zerg, weighing in at 325,000 metric tons, this is Fenrack. Looking forward to this game. The last Fenrack replay that we got was quite a doozy. It took quite some time. This one I do not believe is as long, but hopefully it'll be really interesting, really entertaining. Oh, we're just checking out what our players are doing here. Fenrack taking the expansion, hatch gas pool, very standard open. Or at least it should be a very standard open. Kind of predicting things a little bit here. There we go. There's the gas. There's the spawning pool. Any minute now, Fenrack. Any minute. The spawning pool. The spawning pool. Finally, the spawning pool going down. There we go. Meanwhile, other side of the map, the Protoss gateway into cyber. Pretty standard. Getting the gas a little bit late. Actually misclicking a little bit and not even starting it. There we go. So pretty standard except for the late gas. He's actually not going to have the resources necessary to utilize the cybernetics core. But that's okay. He knows what he's doing. He has a plan. I have faith in him. Double gas going down, actually. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Fenrack working on his economy. Starting double queen. Getting a few lings here to harass, defend. Very standard looking Zerg thus far. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit here. Alright, Lings pushing the probe back. As 6 more Lings moving towards the natural base. This is not walled, so Fenrack could potentially get in here, get some damage done, maybe kill the pylon. And here we go. Fenrack focusing down the pylon. The adept shades back in, starts to pull the Zerglings away. Fenrack doing a good job splitting his Zerglings off. A few of them hunting down the adept, the others going for the pylon. The Stargate going down right in front of Fenrack. He does see this. He clicks on the Stargate, knows exactly what's going on. And these Zerglings ended up being an amazing scout. Ooh, the adept does live despite the Zerglings going back for a second hit, but Fenrack knows exactly what he's up against. Gets 6 more Lings, just to replace the ones that he lost, and is continuing with some queen production as his third base is nearly finished. the Overlord's spine on everything. This is still not walled. And if we check Fenrack's vision, he sees that this is not walled and there's nothing here. He could actually build 50 Zerglings, run them in, and potentially end this game in one swift strike. Lots of gateways going down for the Protoss, even a proxy gate on the other side of the map. This Stargate ending up being more of a fake. Alright, the Overlord is finally being focused down by the Sentry. The Oracle providing vision. On the other side of the map, Fenrack not on top of his injects. Hasn't done anything with this Queen. There we go. The inject going down. The other injects popping on the main and the natural. He needs to redo this right away. Doesn't seem like it's the case. He's falling behind just a little bit. And Fenrack actually has no idea what is happening right now. He saw the Stargate early. He droned up. He prepared for some air, but he doesn't know that there's 5 gateways, 6 gateways on the field ready to warp in units and attack with the Void Ray and the Oracle. Oh, nice Fenrack moving some Overlords forward. Does manage to see this proxy now. He needs to react immediately. This is not the time to not be paying attention. He has to react to this proxy. Otherwise, this could be very dangerous for him. And unfortunately, Fenrack is not paying attention. His drone economy is very low. Would like to see these drones being built much sooner, especially when he's sitting here with a lot of money. He didn't really know what was going on. And so I could justify, I don't know what is going on 100%. Maybe save a few larvae, prepare for an attack. That's fair. It's late into the game. No third. That's fair. But I feel like there was some missed opportunities here from Fenrack to potentially end the game earlier with the lack of the wall. And to also just skyrocket his economy while the Protoss was building this up. 2 robos in production. The Twilight Council on the way as well. And roaches for Fenrack are moving across the map. Meanwhile, the Oracle trying to get some damage does get a couple worker kills. Up to 5 kills on this Oracle. The Overlord in top left moving in, seeing the 3rd base for the Protoss, and Fenrack is on the move. Finds a bunch of Zealots, finds some Void Rays. Force Field's going down, does kill some of the roaches because of that. But Fenrack is just going to walk away. He doesn't want to mess with these Void Rays, and that's fair. One upgrades on the way. The Hydra Den halfway done as well. Super late considering that Fenrack knew there was air, but with his economy finally saturated, about 2.5 minutes late, but finally saturated, will allow Fenrack to start preparing for this. Does have a lot of money in the bank despite the critique on his economy. He is floating lots and lots of minerals, lots and lots of gas. The Oracle doing more damage to the Protoss. The Protoss is doing a really good job of harassing his opponent, keeping him down, keeping that income low. But 10 Hydra are on the field. Hydra range in production as well. Fenrack is making the moves necessary to move forward into this game in a very nice, strong position, actually pulling the queens with his army. This is really interesting from Fenrack. I would have loved to see these queens throw down 3, 4, 5, 6 creep tumors right here, right before they moved out. That way, the creep spread could move on with the army, and he can get this deep creep spread to the top left-hand part of this base, or part of this map rather, which would allow him to reinforce his attack path, really do some damage, utilize the creep for speed on the queens and the Hydra. But that's okay. Fenrack moving in, corrosive vials going down, making connections on a couple of the immortal, but with the force fields trapping the Ravagers. All of the Ravagers will go down. Transfuses need to be used on these queens. There we go, finally a transfuse after one of the queens have died. Fenrack really needs to make sure that he is on top of his control here. There we go, transfuses being put down. Not in time to save the queen yet again. Losing these queens is very, very bad for Fenrack. They are working as excellent meat shields in this fight, keeping the Hydra in the back, keeping them alive. The queens are the units that take the least amount of damage and have the most health. Roaches, while they have a lot of health, will take bonus damage from the immortal, the stalkers, the void ray. All of those things do bonus damage against armored units, so the roaches will die very quickly. Hydra have a very small health pool, but the queens don't take bonus damage and have a lot of health, so they're very, very vital to this fight. And with all of the queens and the Hydra dead, the Protoss is going to hold Fenrack's push quite easily. Taking a few hits, losing a few units, especially his Void Rays, down to only 1. But for the most part, the Protoss has defended this very, very nicely. And Fenrack must rebuild and try to find a position of power once again. Back at home, he does have the 4th base done, but does not have workers for that base, as a lot of them did die in the main and natural earlier from this Oracle, which is now up to 22 kills. Very nice harassment from the Protoss. Cronos moving across the map, finds a roach, immediately kills it. Fenrack now knows this is here, but gets a couple of his roaches caught out once again. He needs his entire army to try to deal with this, but unfortunately, it's on the other side of the map. The roaches and the Hydra moving forward, trying to focus on these Colossus. There we go. Focuses down one, gets it. The second one goes down as well. The Protoss moving forward into the natural Fenrack. This is 3 Colossus and a lot of Stalkers. This is a very deadly army. The roaches and the Hydra moving forward into the main base, focusing down the Colossus, focusing down the Immortal, doing what they can. Roaches out in the field, but they're walking right past the army, going to reinforce the units that are on the other side of the map. Fenrack is now very committed to this all-in. Ooh, Zella is being warped in to surround these Hydra. All of the Hydra dying. The roaches not quite there in time. Still kind of just on a move command. There we go. Finally, Fenrack grabbing them, pulling them into the fight, using them properly. And the Protoss on the other side of the map, just killing Fenrack's base. And we just have a full-on base race situation here. Now, unfortunately for Fenrack, there's a lot of Protoss structures still in the base, and most of these can produce buildings. All these gateways, or not buildings, sorry, units. All these gateways, this Stargate, this Robo, all capable of building units And with the recall of the main army out of Fenrack's base back into his third, Fenrack is forced to retreat. And both players losing about 2 bases. Fenrack lost a little bit more because he lost more technology. But Cronos took a lot of damage as well, losing the Nexus, losing 1 Robo, a Gateway, his Cyber. Lots of buildings destroyed for both players. And the economy is very weak. 42 workers to 39, or 42 probes to 39 drones. The worker count is super close. And once again with roaches and ravagers, Fenrack is moving across the map, looking like he wants to attack this top left base. The Protoss on the move as well though. Archons being warped in, a couple disruptors in the mix, Immortals, Colossus. It's a very, very strong Protoss death ball. And here we go, Fenrack about to be pushed from behind. Units could warp in for Cronos. In the front, could capture this entire army. There's the warp in there, trapping some of the Ravagers in the back as the Colossus and the Archons move forward. Nice Corrosive Biles going down, trying to block the army as much as possible. Really nice control of Fenrack. If he can land a few of these Biles, he could turn the tides of this fight. Oh, those Biles do hit, kill both of the Archons. Very nicely done by Fenrack. And it looks like the Protoss pursuit is over. He's going to stop and kill the Overlord. But Fenrack has some time to regather 19 more roaches as the Protoss army, a little bit slower than the Zerg army, just kind of collects itself to the right here. Fenrack doing an excellent job of making as much value with his abilities as he can, using his units to their fullest potential, getting the Corrosive Biles down on the army, killing as many units as possible, creating space to allow him to hit and run, hit and run, hit and run, and do damage. Unfortunately, this base will go down. Fenrack not reacting right away. Does have his army split into 2 and could potentially get the surround here. This could be very nice for Fenrack. Ooh, the Disruptor shot kills like 7 Ravagers. Oh, the Corrosive Biles go down on the Protoss army as it recalls, but nothing really dies. The majority of the army is kept alive. And that Disruptor blast was absolutely devastating. 22 Zerglings in production for Fenrack. His resources are looking a little low. Ooh, and Archons and Zealots moving into the third. Forcing Fenrack to attack the front. Corrosive Biles do make some nice connections there. Zerglings doing excellent damage to the base in the top left. The main army being pulled back for Fenrack as the drones transfer to this base on the right. Roach is moving forward, trying to find the Archons, but they are evacuated through the Warp Prism. The Zerglings still tearing through the base up at the top. Some of the Zealots getting split down into this base here. He needs to grab the Roaches and defend this, but luckily with the Spine Crawler here, the Zealots get a little distracted. The base goes down to the top left, and Fenrack can come and deal with this Warp Prism now. Unfortunately for Fenrack, he doesn't actually have any anti-air, so he's gonna have to rely on trying to get the corrosive biles onto the warp prism. A very tricky thing to do, but not impossible. Oh, more zealots going into both bases here. And a lot of drones are dying. Fenrack pulling his army, splitting them up. Does defend finally, as the Archons are focusing down the Roach Warren. Oh, but the Zealots still killing drones here. Fenrack didn't finish cleaning this up. Big mistake there, as more drones are now dead. Ooh, big mistake by Cronos, losing an Archon. And both players are just taking hit after hit after hit. Neither one really able to deliver the finishing blow. But neither one walking away from these fights unscathed. They are both getting destroyed by each other's harassment. Ooh, the fungal going down on the warp prism. Corrosive biles moving forward does make connections with one, but the fungal wears off and the warp prism evacuates. Luckily for Fenrack though, he did manage to kill the Archon, so very nicely done by Fenrack in that situation, killing the Archon. Those are very dangerous units, especially versus Zerg. These Immortal and these Stalkers are very strong versus the Roaches that Fenrack has, but a few Zerglings can go in, take some damage, pull the aggro. The Archons will clear the Zerglings very, very quickly. Just not the ideal situation. Now we see a Spire almost done for Fenrack. And while this is not a horrible move, I'm not sure it's the right move. He doesn't have the gas necessary to actually use that Spire. Now a few Corruptors could be very, very useful. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Corruptors to kill the Colossus, to kill the Warp Prism, and deal with that harassment can be really nice. But such a low gas count will mean that he'll never have enough muta to be super efficient in a fight. Could use him to harass, but never really get in a fight. And a few Corruptors would actually go a long way. Alright, Avoid Ray going to harass the bottom base. Ooh, the Protoss army walking right past Fenrack. The fungal goes down, and a lot of these Stalkers get picked off right away. Ooh, the Disruptor Blast killing a lot of the Roaches. The Viper's abducting one of the Colossus, but does go down. Oh, another Disruptor Blast. Ooh, a big chunk of the army is dead yet again. The Blink going forward, picking off these Infestors. One goes down, the second one barely escapes with a little bit of health. Oh, and another Disruptor shot doing so much damage. Nice abduct by Fenrack, killing the Colossus. That's a pretty important unit to this Protoss composition. But on the other side of the map, the Void Ray is being annoying. Not really doing devastating damage, being annoying. And Fenrack has 15 more Roaches in production. And finally, we start to see a couple Corruptors coming out on the field as well. Would love to see Fenrack use these Corruptors, kill the Warp Prism, pick off the Colossus. Kill this Void Ray. Really just deal with the stuff that's harassing Fenrack at the moment, so he can focus on building an army and beating his opponent. As we can see, Fenrack does have the supply advantage at the moment. Doing a really good job of keeping in this game, staying on par with his Protoss opponent. not letting him get too many bases, not letting him get an economy that's too strong. With the Corruptors and the Vipers moving to the left, right past the army. Could have gotten picked off. Fenrack kind of gets lucky with that. As the Protoss moves forward, the Roaches and the Ravagers are being pulled up. And this fight might be the deciding factor in this game. The base goes down. The Fungal's going down, trapping a lot of these units. Nice, another Fungal. The Corrosive Bile's hitting, doing a lot of damage. The Void Rays will get recalled out as the anti-air was not there. Very unfortunate for Fenrack that his Corruptors and Viper were not with his army. He could have actually killed everything for the Protoss right there and put himself super far ahead. Despite that, though, he is still very far ahead. 149 supply to the 94 of the Protoss. Parasitic Bomb going down, doing a lot of damage to these Void Rays. Very nicely done. The Void Rays taking a very bad fight against these Corruptors, and the air threat has been neutralized. Fenrack making excellent use of these Corruptors. Finally, that's exactly what we wanted to see. 22 Zerglings in production as the gas is non-existent for Fenrack, but he has a lot of minerals. Ooh, the Muta, like I said, were not the call. It didn't really do anything except die to this Archon and these Stalkers. But with some Zerglings on the field now, Fenrack could potentially just end this game with one attack. Now the Zerglings are going into the main base, trying to find some damage. Would love to see this pylon in particular go down. He is focusing down the pylon on the right and the Robo. Nice decision making from Fenrack here to kill these two important buildings up at the top. The Zealot's getting cleaned up for the run by. And these Zerglings still doing some work. Break the shields on the Immortal. Get rid of their hardened shield ability. Or their barrier ability. Whatever the name has changed to. I'm not sure Fenrack knows exactly how far ahead he is in this game right now. 169 supply to 94. Fenrack has the ability to end this very soon. Now these Muta could take this fight against the one Void Ray. It's only one. But instead they are hunting down the Immortal and the Warp Prism. The Immortal dies. The Warp Prism moving forward. The Muta in pursuit. And Cronos rather, moving up with his army. Does kill half of the Muta right away. A couple of the Queens as well. Ooh, not what Fenrack wanted. Every unit counts at this stage in the game. Defending on creep. Great time to have some Queens to back you up. Heal up your units mid-fight. Tank for you. Use their anti-air to attack the Colossus, the Void Rays. And Fenrack's army is caught out of position. The Disruptor actually killing his own Zealot. Cronos making a few mistakes here. Does kill the base and should immediately evacuate. Instead, he's going for the spawning pool, being greedy, and it's going to get surrounded. A few of the units going down. The Disruptor going down. That's super important. Some of the Zealots getting killed as well. And Fenrack scores a nice engagement there. Some of these bases not yet mining. But with 192 supply to the 94 of the Protoss, Fenrack is definitely primed to win this game with this next fight. All he has to do is make sure that he takes one good fight. Doesn't just walk all of his units into disruptor shots or into a small choke point, but instead he gets them spread out. Gets a nice surround on the opponent. Ooh, one of the infestors going down. The fungal actually going down and stopping these 3 stalkers. Oh, but the rest of the army comes in, kills those infestors. Fenrack down to only 1 infestor. Has a lot of Zerglings, roaches. The army moving in. Fenrack's on the run, but it's going to get caught out here. The blink going forward. Very aggressive blink, killing a few of the roaches on the end and a ravager. This is a nice position for Fenrack to defend, however. But Cronos backs off, and Fenrack still playing a little scared despite being max supply. Fenrack is very afraid of this Protoss army at the moment. Protoss is a very powerful race, so I do understand it. But Fenrack is absolutely ahead. Finally, this Warp Prism should go down as the Muta chase it down. There we go. The Zealot goes down as well. Oh, never mind. Fenrack is pulling back, not attacking the Zealot. And Cronos is on the move towards this base on the right here. This one Zealot finally goes down. Fenrack splitting his army, moving forward, kills the Colossus, kills the Archons, gets nice corrosive biles on the Stalkers. The Stalkers do blink out, but most of the Protoss army is dead. All the heavy hitters have been taking out. The Archons, the Colossus, the Disruptors. Anything that's really a threat to Fenrack has been killed, and these Stalkers blinking away once again. Ooh, losing about half of them regardless. Fenrack is definitely in a winnable position off of that fight. The Muta forced the cancel on the base to the top left. The blink from the Stalkers gonna be able to kill some of these Muta. But with the roaches, the Zerglings reinforcing, Cronos should be pretty dead here. Alright, the Roach, Hydra, Ravager army throwing down some corrosive biles, trying to kill the shield batteries, the pylon. Ooh, and lurkers in production for Fenrack. He is looking for a permanent solution to this problem. The blink going down, all of the air for Fenrack gonna die. One corruptor might get away with 16 health, and Fenrack uses this opportunity to take a nice position. The lurkers separating the base from the army. One of the lurkers did die, but the lurkers doing a great job killing the static defenses at this base will allow Fenrack to move forward, and this base will have to be sacrificed by Cronos. Oh, the lurker moving forward, getting killed. The other two over on the right do put themselves in a nice position. Fenrack splitting his army a little bit, not quite a proper split, but enough to really allow him to have an okay fight versus this Protoss here. Disruptor getting wasted. Would love to see this army split over onto this side and this side so that he could really spread out and kill this Protoss. Right now he's still a little bit funneled, but that's okay. With 197 supply to 113, Fenrack is still absolutely in control of this game. Zealots coming in to harass. No static defenses at these bases. The Hydra focusing down one of the Void Rays, but doesn't quite get it. The Disruptor shot coming in. Ooh, killing a big chunk of Roaches and Ravagers. Some of the units getting split off from the rest of the army as well. Does mean that they will get picked apart very easily. The only lurker that's left moves forward. Some infestors coming in now. Could get some fungals off. Oh, only catches one stalker. Not the damage he was looking for. But one or two good fungals can absolutely end this. Oh, and the disruptor shot killing another large chunk of ravagers. One fungal does go down. A large portion of the army is caught. Storm to push Fenrack back. A few fungals are still available. Oh, that one misses again, only getting one stalker. And this fight is not going well for Fenrack. He's getting picked apart by these ravagers. I mean, by these disruptors. Oh my goodness. The disruptors, the Colossus, the stalkers doing so much damage. One Broodlord coming in. Not really going to be the answer. But with the nice fungal, he does pick off a couple of these stalkers, which were a threat. And this one lurker on the right is still just holding strong. Doing some damage to the base. Oh, and as I say that, it gets moved more towards where the army's fighting. Oh, with the blink forward. Almost gets the Broodlord. The Broodlord is very low now. Roaches are finally here to reinforce for Fenrack, but he is out of money. He can no longer rebuild his army. He is still up 183 supply to 113. But has nothing left to reinforce. Oh, and the Broodlord gets blinked on and goes down. The storm's hitting absolutely everything. Disruptor shot getting one of the Ravagers. Luckily, only just one. Oh, and both Infestors going down to the second Ravager shot. Or Disruptor shot. I keep saying Ravager shot. Oh, the last Infestor. Oh, not the last Infestor. One of the last Infestors. Going down. The blink forward. Very aggressive. Now the last Infestor goes down. Oh, and Fenrack has his army burrowed. But unfortunately, with the observers there, pretty much half the army just dies right away. And all of a sudden, this is Cronos in control. Could be very, very bad for Fenrack. He's going in trying to find damage once again, avoiding one of the disruptor shots, but taking a lot of damage from the second one. And this Protoss army is looking very, very strong. Fenrack might have lost his opportunity to win the game by not taking advantage of his earlier positions. And this base is going to be focused down. Killed the burrow coming down, but the disruptor shot killing all the drones. All 6 Zerglings that were in production were right there on that base as well. Fenrack gathers enough resources to build 12 more roaches. And this lurker is still just being annoying on the other side of the map. Does have 8 kills. Is doing pretty decent. But it looks like the Protoss is going to fall back, kill this lurker, retake this base. Yep, there's the lurker kill. The probes in position should see a Nexus go down. Should see a Nexus go down. Should see a Nexus go down. Alright, well apparently the Protoss isn't going to build a base there. More lurkers in production once again for Fenrack. Oh, and the Protoss army moving forward. You're going to find the queen. Again, every unit matters. You don't want to lose your queens. Oh, you don't want to lose 6 roaches to the disruptor as well. Oh, another like 8 roaches. Storms going down. Oh my goodness, roaches, Hydra, and a Ravager. And these disruptors are just doing work for the Protoss. Ooh, the Protoss on a move command. Fenrack is able to find a little bit of damage here. Storm's going down this Disruptor shot once again. And GG WP. Fenrack bows out. Accepts defeat. Very, very nice try, Fenrack. Great game. A few mistakes here and there, but overall, nicely played. I appreciate you sending in the replay. Hopefully you enjoyed your cast. If you guys liked the video, feel free to push the button, hit the bell. You know what to do. I will see you guys next time. Take care.